Oh my god, it is happening. We're at the end of year 2016, which means it is time to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of 2016. Now, before I get into my list, here are a couple of ground rules. Rule number one, I did not see every single movie that came out this year. I'm not a professional critic, I'm not a particularly wealthy person, so I don't have the time and money to see all the movies that came out this year. And I'm also excluding a couple of films that just came out. These are films that are going to expand throughout January. Those films are Silence, 20th Century Women, Patterson, Lion, and I'm gonna throw in Moana as well because I haven't seen that movie yet. And rule number two, and this is the most important rule, this is a very subjective list. I'm sure there's going to be some films that you didn't particularly enjoy, and that is totally fine. I'm not forcing you to like any of the movies I'm going to talk about. I'm not saying these are the best movies of 2016. These are films that I just really liked, and you are more than welcome to agree or disagree with me. So without further ado, these are my top 10 favorite movies of 2016. So starting off the list with a small indie film, and that is Born to be Blue. This is a fascinating drama about jazz musician Chet Baker. This is not a straightforward biopic, and it doesn't cover his entire life. So if you're a huge fan of Chet Baker, you might be disappointed by that approach, but I loved how the filmmakers used a fictional narrative to explore the psyche and struggle that this guy went through. And Ethan Hawke is brilliant in this movie. If this film had come out during the awards season, we would be buzzing about his potential Oscar nomination. This is a ferocious and transformative performance, and if you are one of those people who still thinks that Ethan Hawke can't act, watch this movie and trust me, you will change your mind. Moving on to number 9, and we have a film that disappointed a lot of people, which is quite shocking because I loved the BFG. To me, this is a film in which Spielberg rediscovered his inner child. This is by far the most charming film he's done in a very long time, probably since E.T. It is visually stunning, the effects looked seamless, it has a wonderful story. Mark Rylance and Ruby Barnhill had great chemistry together, and I just loved this wonderful friendship between a girl and the big friendly giant. Oh, and the whole thing at the Buckingham Palace had me laughing like an idiot. This movie just really won me over. I thought it was really wonderful. At number 8, we have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now, I have to say, I was very skeptical about this movie. I had the lowest expectation possible because for one, none of the trailers impressed me. They looked very underwhelming, and for two, it seemed like an unnecessary prequel that was made by, you know, money-craving studio executives. A film with no heart, no soul, no sense of magic or wonder that made us fall in love with the Harry Potter franchise in the first place. And then I came out of the theater wishing this was 2 hours longer. I had such a great time watching this movie. The action was a lot of fun, the creature design was just beautiful, I loved the way it expanded this universe. But the thing I loved the most about this movie was the characters. I thought the 4 main characters were so charming and so likable. I believed in these characters, I cared about these characters, I loved the way they interacted with each other, and overall this was a dazzling movie experience. Moving on to number 7, and we have a very controversial choice, and that is High Rise. Oh my god, this is one of the most ambitious, disturbing, and weirdly hypnotizing allegories I've ever seen. Now I get it, this movie is not for everyone, and it clearly shows both in the visuals and in the story. It's a film about social hierarchy and class war. It has this cold, almost Kubrickian feel to it, but it also has this very dark sense of humor. It is a gorgeous looking film. The cinematography, the production design, the costumes, they are all lavishing. I loved the way it was edited. I thought the performances were great, and Clint Mansell's score is so eerie and so unsettling, but also sensuous at the same time. So hats off to Ben Wheatley and Amy Jump for making this brilliant piece of cinema. I thought this was a great film. And at number 6, we have Hell or High Water. I loved this movie. This is an exciting modern day western, a smart heist film with some things to say about today's society. It has great action, great performances, an engaging drama, but more importantly, just like Fantastic Beasts, it has characters that you care about, characters you can connect on an emotional level, characters whose motives we can actually understand. It is one of the best indie movies I've seen this year, and certainly one of the best films of of 2016. So we are done with the first half of the list and moving on to my top 5 favorites of the year, and at number 5 is The Handmaiden. Park Chan-wook, the director of Oldboy, hits yet another career peak with this luscious, provocative, unpredictable, and surprisingly funny psychological thriller. I don't really want to say anything because I feel like I would spoil something and ruin your entire experience, and I don't want to do that. So if you haven't seen The Handmaiden, please go check it out. It is fucking awesome. At number 4, we have yet another controversial movie choice. This is the film that was described as farting corpse movie, and that is Swiss Army Man. I loved this movie, and I know it is very strange and it's not everyone's cup of tea. It is one of the most original and wildly entertaining movies I've seen this year, and it uses fart as a metaphor, and it talks about the human condition in such stylistic and poetic fashion. I thought both Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe were fantastic, and usually I'm not a huge fan of fart jokes, but this movie had me laughing from start to finish, and by the end of it, I was genuinely moved by it. This is a really beautiful film. Alright, so we are at number 3, and I had to pick this film for number 3, and that is Manchester by the Sea. Everybody's talking about how devastating and emotional this film is, but one of the things I loved about it is how funny it is and how humane it is. Now don't get me wrong, when the emotional stuff happens, it hits you real hard, but I loved the way Kenneth Lonergan handled the serious drama with humor and heart. I think Casey Affleck should win an Oscar for his performance, and kudos to Kenneth Lonergan for his powerful script and subtle direction. This is a great film. Alright, so we have 2 more movies left, and this was a really tough call. I love both of these movies equally, and if I could put them together at number 1, I would, but I wanted to challenge myself. So number 2, I decided to go with Sing Street. I wish this movie was a person so I can take it to Vegas and fucking marry it. I love this movie. I went to see it 4 times in theaters, and every time it made me smile, it made me laugh, it moved me so much, and it made me just forget about the stressful situation I was in. There's nothing groundbreaking about the story, and we've seen films like this a million times before, but I didn't care. It is optimistic, it is unabashedly romantic, it is charming and uplifting, and it's such a feel-good movie, and the music in this film is just fantastic. I loved it. I am still in love with this movie. This movie makes me happy every time I see it, and just even thinking about it makes me happy. And here we are, my favorite movie of 2016, and if you have been following my channel for a while, you probably guessed it. This is the only film I saw this year that I thought was pure perfection. At number 1, my favorite movie of 2016 is Moonlight. This film floored me. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and now it is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is a beautiful, intimate, heartbreaking, and quietly moving coming-of-age tale. It is a film about acceptance, it is a film about love and human connection, it is a film about loneliness and masculinity and its effects on one's identity. It is written, directed, and acted to perfection. It is a tough film to sit through, but it was one of the most rewarding movie experiences I've had in my life. It is profoundly moving. I love Moonlight. So these are my top 10 favorite movies of the year, and what are your favorite movies of 2016? Let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a civilized discussion. And thank you so much for watching, guys. It means a lot to me. I had a blast talking about movies this year, and next year I promise you I will create more videos. I know I say that all the time, but I really want to focus on YouTube next year. I want to make videos more consistently. I want to provide more content. I'm very determined. So yeah, look forward to that. And once again, thank you so much for watching, guys. So yeah, goodbye 2016 and welcome 2017.